Hey, welcome back to my channel. I am Monica of Million Monica over on the Poshmark app, where I am a full-time seller. And if you didn't know, Millie is the mannequin. I know that confuses some people. Anyway, today I have another What Sold video for you. And this is going to be a What Sold video for the first 2 weeks of May. And they're going to be items that sold fast. So items that sold in kind of the 2-week time frame, and some actually sold much quicker than that within a couple days or sometimes even same day. So I'm going to be walking you through about 20 sales, what those items sold for, and then I'll be showing the item over here on the screen. So if that sounds interesting to you, please make sure to subscribe and hit the little bell as well so that you'll be notified when I'm releasing new content, new videos related to reseller content. And I do that weekly here on YouTube, so just make sure to go ahead and do that now if you haven't already, and let's dive right in. So I have been selling quite a few items very quickly recently, and that's a good thing. I did a haul video a little bit prior to this, like a week ago or something like that, that had a few very similar items, or some of the same items, but there's not too much overlap. Okay, sorry for the long intro. So, something that sold really fast right away within just a couple days of listing was a 90s vintage Worthington dress. It was kind of a midi maxi length depending on your height, and that sold for $15 via best offer. I just took it and ran with it. Another sale that's something that sold quickly was a Gimmicks BKE like cold shoulder blouse. It was kind of flowy, like smocked top. And yeah, that sold really quickly. I think it was perfect for festival season. It sold for $24 via best offer. Another BKE kind of kimono actually sold in a bundle with another item that sold very quickly as well, and that both of those items actually sold to one of you who I believe will probably be watching this video, so thank you. But anyway, so it was a BKE kimono, and it was bundled with a anthro kind of peplum hem lacy button down cardigan. So many words to describe it. But yeah, both of those items went in a bundle and sold very quickly. Okay, moving on to the fourth thing that sold really quickly in the past 2 weeks was this pair of brown kind of 80s, 90s vintage 501 Levi's, and they sold for $39, and it was a counter offer. I like to sell most of my vintage Levi's $40 and up, but I was like, well, that's close enough. And then in a pair of American Eagle, there are these really cool paneled jeans, and they were called the vintage high-rise jeans. However, they were a modern make, but they had this really cool like raw hem that was kind of cut at an angle, and I really thought they were a great pair of jeans, and those sold for $30 also via counter offer. Next was some shoes. So there's going to be a lot of shoes actually that sold really fast. It was this pair of Bass & Co. I think it's called Weejuns patent leather loafers, and they were in fabulous condition, and they sold for $32 via best offer. And then there was this really fun, I thought it was fun, and apparently someone else did too, and it did get a lot of interest. So it was a vintage Wrangler Western shirt. It didn't have a size, but I provided measurements and I modeled it, so I think that kind of helped sell it. But that sold for $20 via, I think it was a counter offer. I'm not remembering now. I don't remember if it was just an offer or if it was a counter offer off of one of my offer to likers. That's a lot of words. Okay. So then the next thing, I think we're on like the 8th item that sold really fast, was this really beautiful vintage, I think it was handmade, peasant crop top, and I actually showed it in a haul video I think a couple weeks ago. And that actually probably sold to one of you as well. I know she's an Instagram follower, and it sold for $20 via offer to like her. And it was super, super cute. It was a crop top and just so adorable. Something I should mention at this point, if I say something sold via offer to liker, when I do offers to likers, I only really ever offer the $1.80 shipping discount. I very, very, very rarely will ever offer that full shipping discount. And a lot of the times I don't offer that full shipping discount because I'm selling these items at lower prices, and it just really doesn't make sense for me to offer that great of a shipping discount. So when I say it's sold via offer to liker, you can just assume that it's always going to be that $1.80 shipping discount and nothing more. Okay, so next item, moving on to the 9th, will be a pair of vintage Levi shorts. And they were not the modern make, they're the vintage style, kind of the longer inseam. And then there was a vintage skirt. So it was a vintage Liz Claiborne, and it was a button down front, super trendy right now. It was khaki colored. And oddly enough, and I put this in the description with that skirt, it was 100% silk, but it felt more like linen, which I thought was bizarre. It did have some flaws, and so I accepted a best offer of $15, just because it did have some wear, some discoloration in a few different areas, but it was still a really great skirt. Okay, so the next thing was a pair of fry flats, and the fry flats sold in a bundle. So the price that you're seeing, the $42, is not actually what they sold for because it was bundled. You see that 42, but it was more like 32 based on what the other items in the bundle kind of came out to. So there was with that pair of shoes. They did have some wear, which is why maybe you're thinking that's low for Fry, but they did have some wear, and it was just, I was willing to take that in the bundle offer. Next would be this suit that I showed in my last haul video. That haul video is a little bit different timeline, a different style, but the next few items will be repeated from that video. So this Hawaiian suit sold for $10, and then this next suit, the cheetah suit, sold for $24 via offer to liker. Now this next pair, again, sorry, these are repeats from that other video if you watched it, but if you haven't, you should go watch it because there are different items in that. So this next one is a pair of vintage, oh, I'm sorry, they're not vintage. They're Levi shorts that were new with tag. They're the cutoff 501s, and they're kind of that modern comeback of the Levi's. And they sold for $24 via, or I'm sorry, they sold for something else. Let me look here at my notes. They sold for $36 via offer to liker. Oh my, all this talking and not showing you things is kind of weird, which is why I have this coffee in my hand. I felt like I needed something just to hold instead of constantly talking with my hands. But anyway, okay, moving on. The next would be the Cabby skinny pants, and I think they were called the Nantucket Red, and those sold same day, and I sold them for $30 for the best offer. When that came in, I was like, of course. There were some comps that were higher, but it was such a quick flip that I was willing and ready to take that. So we only have a few more items left. This next is another pair of Levi shorts, new with tags, and they were embroidered, floral embroidered, and they sold for $42 via offer to liker. Then I sold a pair of Free People espadrilles. They had the ankle like straps. They're super, super cute. Those sold for $35 via offer. This one we haggled a little bit, went back and forth. I think she started with maybe $25 originally, and then we went back and forth, and then I did accept the $35. Those were only listed, I think, a couple days. maybe less. They sold really fast. And same with these American Eagle. They were kind of like a sandal, clog, block heel, super cute. And they sold really quickly as well for $25. I think I listed those shoes like the same day or within a day of each other. And they were in great condition. Then this pair of Danskos, oh my gosh, they were so gorgeous. I know that I showed them in the garage sale haul. I knew they were going to sell fast. I wish they had been my size. I probably would have kept them. Anyways, these red Dansko heels sold for $45 within like the next day of listing. And that was best offer. I can't remember, we might have gone back and forth with that one, but not much for sure. And she, in her love note, the buyer wrote that she wanted that pair of Danskos in like every color, so that was fun. And the last pair of shoes in the last sale that I'm going to talk about was actually a pair of shoes or heels that I had listed for quite a while, and then I relisted, and then they sold really fast. And that was this pair of Vince Adley. They were kind of this purplish burgundy suede heels, and like I said, they had been listed for a while and they had a lot of interest and no one was biting, so I relisted them, and then they sold really fast for $55 via best offer. And yeah, that is it for these 20 items that sold really fast in the first 2 weeks of May. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe so that you will not miss any future content. And as always, I will see you next time.